What is going on, guys? I am Taylor and welcome back to my channel. We are finally starting the Janet Jackson deep dive after I have promised you guys all this time that we were going to do it. Now, this is the first video in our deep dive, and if you haven't been to this channel before or you haven't been on one of these deep dives before, we pick an artist and I go through their entire discography from top to bottom. So first album all the way to the most recent. I do album reactions to them and I listen to them and give you my opinion and explore their artistry through their music. So before we get started, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell button so you get notification of when new videos drop here on the channel. Hop on over to Instagram and TikTok. Give me a follow. If you would like to help support the deep dive and support the channel, there is a Patreon link down in the description. Now, all the extra deep dive content, I go through all the music videos for each album, live performances, B-sides, unreleased, all kinds of cool content from the deep dive. You can find that there exclusively on Patreon. Go and check that out if you got the time. And guys, Janet Jackson, man, you know, I've heard a couple Janet Jackson songs. Who hasn't? Growing up, she's such a major artist and has, been doing music before I was even born. So there's gonna be a couple songs in there that I've heard, and who knows, there might be songs in there in the album that I've heard and I didn't even realize it was Janet Jackson's, and that's happened before in prior deep dives, and that's pretty cool because it always kind of brings me back to a moment. But I'm excited to kind of see where we're starting here, what her sound, her initial sound in her debut album was. And of course, where it's going to go to now. I think she put out an album a couple years ago. Maybe it was last year, a couple years ago. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm ready to explore and see. I've always, because I'm new to Janet, I've always sort of seen Janet and Michael together as like one and one, but from what you guys have said, there's a lot of differences and Janet Jackson stands out on her own. So I'm really excited to see what unique type of things her music does, her performances does, her music video does, all of that makes her stand out as a distinguished, iconic solo artist herself. But without further ado, guys, let's hop right into the album. Already starting off with the groove. I like it. Ooh, the anticipation, man. Oh, those string hits. Okay. Harmony is beautiful. Woo. Woo-hoo-hoo. Oh my goodness. Oh. The layered guitars, man, and the effect this adds to it. You know, I'm not always fond of tracks that go farther than like 6 minutes. I mean, this was like a 7-minute track, and I usually have a problem with that because the song can tend to get stale at times because it just, you know, everything is not fresh anymore. I didn't have a problem with that with this song. This song, honestly, it could have kept going. It could have been a 10-minute song, and I probably would have been vibing with it the whole time. Just because, well, where do we start? One, the production of it, just the layers of instruments that come in, and it builds up through the entire song. From the very beginning, that thunder sound with the riser coming in, and then we drop into that groovy beat, and that bass just kind of bumps us along. And then you get little things and little textures and intricate pieces of sounds that come in and keep things fresh and keep things, you know, not like a novelty feeling. And it you kind of lose yourself in your sense of time when you're listening to it because you're so focused on grooving out. And Janet Jackson in her voice, man, her voice is so light and airy, and it works so well with this sort of disco funk song instrumental that we have going. It fits right in those crevices and those grooves that the instruments are leaving space for, and it flows very, very well. And look, I promise you, I am not going to make a ton of be like, oh, this sounds like Michael Jackson, like that. But you can see and feel the influences of Michael's music and her vocal style and the way she's singing in this, even in the production of it, the vocal effect elements and everything. It feels very much like that. But let's talk about this. Like, this is Janet Jackson's debut, right? Her music. Michael's her older brother. When you're the younger sibling, who are you going to pull influences from? Your older sibling when you're starting stuff out, right? So I can see how this can have a very Michael feel to it, but yet it still feels very Janet on its own. All right, let's move on to the next one. Woo! Again, those little elements. Little arpeggio chords. Okay. Oh, gorgeous. Such a smooth transition into the chorus. Flawless. Woo! Let's go, girl. Hit them vocals. Oh. Man, her vocals are giving me straight eargasm right now. Like, no joke. No joke. There's something about it. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's her tone or what, but it's just, like I said, it just feels so light and airy and it's fun, but yet it still cuts to your soul like a dagger in a way. I don't know how. I don't know what it is about it, but it just, that's the way I feel with it. And it's working really, really well with the sound that she's got going on. Again, track-wise, like I said, listen to the elements of the production track, the instrumental, the little arpeggio sound, synth, keys, whatever are going on in there, keeping things, giving it some life, you know? So you're not just the drums and the bass and everything, but you're giving it a personality. That's what I'm going to start calling it for now on. You're giving the instrumental a personality by adding those little instrumental fun pieces to it that just kind of pop in there and you're not expecting it. Oh! Yeah, I'm loving the arrangement on these tracks. Woo! She hits that higher register, man. You know, for being only 16 years old with this album, or when this album was released, so she must have been, what, 15 maybe when she was recording this? We're getting some really, really kind of, I don't want to say mature themes in this, but a very, very sort of mature outlook on certain topics. But what I really love about this Young Love song is that it kind of turns it on their head, and and we're talking about Young Love here, but I like how she approaches it from sort of like a outside mature perspective on Young Love, but she kind of flips it on their head, on our listeners' heads in the chorus with the whole ring around the rosies, like using a child song to sort of, I guess, explain, to merge the two. That's what I guess I'm trying to say. It's merging that childhood sort of innocence with the more sort of like mature expressionist outlook in love, and merging the two of those in the chorus. And I really love that she's done that. But yeah, all these songs so far, the arrangements of the instruments have just been fantastic. Like I said, I love how, I'm drinking an energy drink, and it's making me like super, got some burps coming on. I'm trying not to like burp in the microphone or something. But what was I saying? The brass and the strings. If you listen to that breakdown, you have the brass coming in, bump, 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 bump. And then it's like the strings come in, the brass comes out, and the string comes in, and it fills that pocket where the brass is supposed to be, and it feels like they're having a conversation with each other. And to me, that feels like it's also highlighting that sort of aspect that I'm talking about the young innocence and a little bit more of a mature outlook. You got the brass, it's a little bit more of this mature sound, but you have this light, airy strings that represents the innocence, and it's going back and forth, and they're kind of dancing and talking to each other in a certain kind of way, if that makes sense. I don't know. Go back and listen to the song and listen to it again, and maybe you'll understand what I'm saying, but yeah, I'm amazed at being 15, 16 when she recorded these songs, just how well done they are. Okay, again, I wasn't going to make any similarities to Michael Jackson, but this does not sound like Ben. This sounds like Ben. Especially that loving my best friend. Come on. And my best friend. See? That's totally Ben. Listen to how vulnerable she sounds in her lyrics and in her voice. Oh, gorgeous. And my best friend, nothing better. Ooh, okay. Hitting that note? Okay. Yes. Oh, that last note there, man. Woo, goosebumps. I think so far, Loving My Best Friend has been the highlight of the album. Just because, yes, we got that very sort of dancey disco, up front in your face music. But this one, I really love that we strip it back. You have some nice synth and keys in there, just kind of grooving along. But then it really allows Janet's vocals to shine. And my God, do they shine in this track. Like I said, just that last little note. Like, okay, okay, we know she got some major range here that hopefully she expresses more in the rest of this album, because it, you know what I mean? So, but the fragility and the vulnerability is a very like vulnerable song, right? You're talking about your best friend and like what you feel for them, the love that you have for them, and a very intimate feeling with your best friend. And this song does feel very intimate. Again, this is a way that, you know, the lyrics, not only the lyrics, that's only a small portion of it, but the way she sings, the melody, the tone of her voice, and how the production works all together to evoke a sense of emotion in the listener and highlights the theme and the feelings of the song. And this was really, really, really well done. I think because of that, this has been my favorite song on the track so far. On the album. So don't mess up a good thing, Janet. Oh. I just imagine some guy in the studio like, oh. Hey. That funk guitar's got me going crazy. Don't mess up this good thing. Oh, again, bringing that sort of mature outlook on a topic. Again, love. It's very, very unique, especially for someone at her age at the time that this album came. Now, granted, I'm sure this was written by some other songwriters. I don't know if Janet necessarily wrote this herself. It being a debut album, I'm sure there was a bunch of producers and a bunch of writers for this. But still, there's going to be a little bit of truth in it. I mean, the truth is you hear it in her voice. The truth is in her voice. You know, it may not be what she's written, but it's in her voice, and you can hear it, and it feels truthful when she's singing these lyrics that have been written. And I think that goes to show more than just lyrics themselves. I think that's more sort of like the inner core of an artist, is even if the songs aren't necessarily written by the artists themselves, but they sing it in a way that it feels true to themselves. I think that's just as strong as somebody who were to write it themselves as well, because it ultimately nobody's going to see the words, they're going to hear them. So if that truth is being evoked through the voice of the artist when they're singing it, and the listener is picking up on that, that means so much more than just what's on a page, you know? But yeah, she's, her vocals are incredible, man. Especially being this young, it's just her falsettos, her range, the way that she can manipulate her voice to evoke different emotions, again, with the fragility and everything like that. Bro. And we're going into another ballad. Let's do it. I hope she shows off some range on this one, too. I need some goosebumps in my life, you know? Beautiful harmony in there. Oh, gorgeous. The way that note just carries us into the chorus is flawless, man. Oh, oh. Woohoo! I like that sound. This song gives me like old school musical vibes. Like, I feel like this track could be on like something from Grease or something. It just has a very cinematic quality and a cinematic feel to it. Or maybe not so much cinematic, more so I want to say more like Broadway. It has more of a Broadway type feel. Again, musical Broadway. But yeah, again, another ballad that just allows us to appreciate her voice. I mean, it's just, it's like I said, it's like, it feels like you're melting when you're listening to it, or you're just floating off into a cloud. Like, I don't know how to explain it any better. I feel like I could just lay on my bed and just like listen to her like riff forever and feel like I'm just in another dimension. Oh. That little harmony behind her just highlights the magic, creates the magic. Woo. Hey, get it, girl. Let's go. I love her, how she flexed that vocal ability, man. Love it. Oh, man. Yeah. Yeah. There's been times, a lot of times actually, when I fall in love with the distinct sound of a certain artist's voice, and I'm gonna say I am loving Janet's voice. I don't know where it's gonna go from here, but right now I'm feeling it. It's a vibe for sure. And again, I love how dancey a lot of these tracks are. Okay. Thought we were going country for a sec. Oh my god. What is this? Oh, I'm loving this. Oh, yeah. Talk is Jesus. Woo! You tell him. Tell him. Get it on that guitar. Let's go. Woo! Bring it in. Okay. A strong debut album for Janet Jackson. Again, very strong. It makes it even more amazing that she was only 16 when this album came out, right? So 15 when she recorded it, most likely. Um, Maybe even younger than that. I don't know. But, oh, man, there's glimpses, there's a split. There's a mixture of sort of that youthful playness and that youthful energy in some of the more dancey tracks, but then there's a sense of raw matureness in the slower sort of ballad tracks that you kind of wouldn't expect from somebody at that age, unless that person had happened to have experiences that led to that. Um, and allowed them to sort of have that insight and have that perspective and that outlook on certain things. And young love is a true thing, so who knows, maybe there was a young love and something happened and everything like that. But just having such a strong debut album with strong tracks that don't linger on they don't linger too long. Even if they're long tracks, they don't feel very long at all. And it has a nice blend of the dancey tracks and the stripped back ballad tracks. And just the production and overall it's fun and it's different. A lot of the albums I've listened to from this time period, especially in the pop, and this isn't necessarily pop, it's a little bit more R&B here, but still at the same time, 80s R&B pop, right? That was R&B was kind of pop and pop was kind of R&B. That's just how it was. It's what it was popular at the time. It has a very distinct sound. But this doesn't have it. This is kind of the first album that I've heard from this sort of era of the 80s, a debut album that doesn't have that sort of industrialized pop sound. I don't want to say industrialized because it's not like industrial and like genre wise, but like sound wise, like that standard industry 80s pop sound that you would get. This very much is in its own avenue, and I really appreciate that. And I think that we can give kudos to Janet on that, and her production team and her songwriters for this, that really made it feel like something unique. Again, I'm looking here on Apple Music, and some of these songs were written by other people, so I don't think they were necessarily written by Janet, but like I said, it doesn't matter. You can feel the truth in the way she sings and the experience in the way that she uses her voice. It's light and airy, but yet there's a sense of heaviness that cuts into your soul, and it's almost sort of a reflection in the sound, and the truth is there. And again, I've said it earlier, but when you're looking for the truth in music, it doesn't necessarily come from the words on the page. It comes from how the words sound when you're singing it and the artist is singing it. And is the truth there? And yes, Janet Jackson brought the truth. And I am amazed that for someone at her age to drop an album like this, especially a debut album, is nuts, to be honest. And I think this is gonna be, the baseline. If this is the baseline of where we're starting for this deep dive, who the fuck knows where we're gonna go? I mean, you guys probably. I have no idea. So you guys know what I'm in store for, and I'm freaking excited for it, man. But yeah, strong debut. My favorite songs were "Love and My Best Friend," "Don't Mess Up This Good Thing," and "Come and Give Your Love to Me" was just a great closer. It's a great closer. But let me know your guys' thoughts down in the comments, what you like, what you dislike about the album, what your favorite songs are. Remember, this is the very first video of our Janet Jackson deep dive where we're exploring Janet Jackson's artistry through her music videos, and live performances. from their first album all the way to her last album. So make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell button so you get notification of when these new videos drop here on the channel. Hop on over to Instagram, TikTok, give me a follow. Now, like I said, the albums get posted here on the channel for the deep dive, but if you want to get early access to the albums or the uncut versions of the album reactions, as well as all the music videos for the album, B-sides, any unreleased music, and live performances as we go on through this Janet Jackson deep dive. For Janet Jackson specifically, there is a Patreon link down in the description. Go and check that out if you got the time. That helps support these deep dives and helps support this channel. And that is all I got for you guys today. Shout out to all of our new subscribers. Welcome to the Tay Rob Squad. Yeah, guys, and until next time, take care, stay safe, and I'll see you then.